All right, thanks everyone for coming today. I'd like to welcome everyone to this great webinar we have set up with Robin Robbins. I am David Gugic with MSP 360. Most of you probably know us, but for those of you that don't, we do backup services that we've designed from the ground up for the MSP community. And we allow you to back up all of your clients' Windows, Linux, and Mac assets, endpoints and servers to the cloud storage of your choice. So we've decoupled cloud storage from our product, so you can buy your own cloud storage directly from the vendor so you can save money. We have a very profitable system because we're very low cost, plus you're not paying extra for private cloud like you may with certain other vendors. So we can manage everything from a single pane of glass. And I think we're worth checking out if you're interested in lowering your costs while continuing to help your customers by making sure they're fully backed up. I want to welcome today's guest speaker. I'm pretty excited about this. Our presenter, Robin Robbins. Robin Robbins has been successfully working for the last 19 years to help IT service providers improve their sales, their profit, and their monthly recurring revenue. She is a premier marketing consultant for the IT services industry and a trusted advisor to over 10,000 managed services business owners. And she's here today to share her strategies about how you can secure 1 to 2 highly profitable clients per month so you can continue to grow your business even during these very difficult times. So welcome, Robin, and thanks for being here.
All right, thanks, David. It's interesting to hear you say about your product. I guess for whatever reason, I didn't understand that you decouple it, the backup technology, so they can have their own cloud. I think that's pretty cool. So that's
yeah, that's exactly what we do. That's how we wrote the product from the very beginning, just to put MSPs in control of where they want to put their data for their customers. That way they can price things appropriately. You need to be competitively priced to make sure you can compete with fellow MSPs in your market, but also you want to make sure you can generate the most amount of profit because we're in the business of making some money. We all have to retire and send our kids to school and pay our bills.
Buy that swimming pool. All right, David. Well, thank you. So,
all right, thanks.
All right. So I appreciate everybody being here. Let's see, making sure the session's recorded. You got to double check those things. So if you're just joining me, I'd love for you to post something in the question area. Just post that you can hear me, where you're listening in from. I'm just curious to see that. I want to make sure that the chat is working really quick. We are on live, so if you have any questions whatsoever, anything you want me to clarify or go over, let me know. Wow, we got people in the UK, very cool. I lived in Leamington Spa for a while. People, it's like a little fun fact. From Pennsylvania. All right, let's see, a lot of people, VA, Virginia, from the Netherlands. Wow, okay, Maui, Toronto, New Jersey. All right, Missouri. So we got a very international group. Mexico representing Atlanta. Hey, Cheryl. I see Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Very cool. All right, guys. So you found where the Q&A is. If you have questions as we roll out, please let me know. So what we are going to be focusing today on how you are getting 1 to 2 new profitable managed service clients right now, even during this economic recession. I guess I can't say depression yet, but we're rapidly heading in that direction. Unfortunately, just in general, I have seen quite a few MSPs that smaller ones in particular that are really struggling, some closing their doors, cutting back. Money's super tight. They're getting clients that are cutting back their contracts or closing their doors or simply not paying. So I think we're all feeling the pinch here. But the good news, the really good news is that I have a lot of clients that are still closing deals. I get messages from them all the time. Brian Hamilton just messaged me on Facebook right before we got on this webinar here and said he closed another $8,700 per month managed services deal. And Brian like routinely gives me updates because he really was a startup, just getting rolling, no marketing experience, no big funds, didn't have a list, didn't have a lot of the things that you would need in order to grow your managed services business. I think even at one point, he kind of had almost given up hope and thought he couldn't do it, but he's turned the ship around. And what's interesting is once you get going, once you get moving in the right direction, there's a snowball effect. And that snowball effect starts taking hold where you start doing marketing, you're closing deals, you gain more confidence, you do more marketing, you get more leads, more opportunities, and you start to spiral up. Bad news is that snowball can go in the wrong direction as well. And if you're not marketing and then you start cutting back even more because you're afraid of what's happening with the pandemic and you don't have money. So you start, stop spending money and you stop doing marketing and you stop doing any prospecting because you think nobody's buying right now because of the pandemic. Nobody's in their office. Nobody's answering their phone. That's what I hear. I hear these grandiose generalizations. Nobody, everybody shut down. Nobody's buying IT. You hear these belief systems, and when you start thinking like that and acting that way, that spirals you down. So it's important that you keep marketing. People are closing business right now. Yes, it is tougher right now, but there are things you can do to improve your situation. And that's what we're really going to talk about, is how to solve the number one problem MSPs deal with. And that is how to get more new clients faster. And specifically not any client, but high quality clients who appreciate you. Because I think when most people start a business, they'll take anybody who can fog a mirror and wave $1. And if it's like, hey, can you fog a mirror and can you give me $1? You're in. And I know when you first start, even when I first started, I did that because you just got to get going and you got to get started, and you really don't know yet what a good customer is. As your business evolves and matures, you want to make sure that you're looking for right fit customers, because nothing is worse than getting a bunch of customers that are cheap, who won't take your advice, that are a giant pain in the ass, that aren't profitable, that don't align with your core values, that don't align with the direction you want to go in your business, and you're constantly fighting them, and it's not productive and you can't grow. So marketing is not just about getting more clients, it's about getting the right fit clients to want to do business with you. So this webinar really is going to be for smaller MSPs. That's who I'm focusing on, who might be frustrated with slow growth, maybe you got cheap clients, you're getting low pay, maybe you want to have a reliable plan in place that will consistently bring in the right type of clients for you, and you realize your lack of marketing is holding you back in more ways than one, not just in income, but also in growth and success and stability and the things that come with having a profitable MSP. And you also are smart enough to know that you shouldn't try and figure it out on your own. I mean, I'm stunned at how many people will say, oh, if they could go to a seminar or a webinar like this to learn from somebody, myself, who's been in this business for 20 years, I've worked with well over 10,000 MSPs. I'm in the trenches with them every day. I know what the good ones do. I know what the bad ones do. And like, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I'm too busy to learn how to do marketing and get clients. I mean, it's amazing to me how many people have that mindset, but they're binge watching YouTube and Netflix, and they're on Facebook screen sucking for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, but they don't have time for this. So hopefully that's not you. Obviously it's not you. You wouldn't have registered and be here today. But that's who we are. That's who I'm going to talk to today. Maybe you fit in one or more of those categories. If that aligns with you, go ahead and post something in the chat there. I'll kind of keep an eye on that to see if I hit any hot buttons for those of you who are out there. And yeah, I want to make sure that we give some recognition to MSP 360. They are bringing me in to do this, and this is actually going to be the first in a series of webinars that I am doing for free for all of you who are on right now. So if you can't stay to the end, try to stay to the end, because this is the first session. You don't want to miss it. But we are going to be doing a series of webinars. It's a mini course just to show you how to package, price, and sell profitable managed services agreements. From my experience, a lot of people, even people who sell some managed services, they're still pricing things too cheaply. They're not packaging their services in a way to make them very sellable and competitive, and also to maximize their own profitability. And so we are going to be covering all this in this mini series. This is the first one, and you want to get registered for that. You can go to managedservicesmarketing.com/MSP360. It's free to you. Just go ahead and register, but please come back. Don't leave and then don't come back, because we're going to cover the first part of this today. Now, I know I've got some clients on. I saw Cheryl for one, Bob Mitchie. I'm looking at some of the names on here, and I do recognize some of you, but I also know that some of you are not clients of mine and you've never heard me speak before. So briefly, very briefly, my name is Robin Robbins. That is a real name. It's not a married name. I'm not related to Tony Robbins. First thing everybody wants to know. And I started working in 2001. And since with MSPs and VARs specifically, I've been in marketing and sales my whole life. But in 2001, I drew a line in the sand. I said, I'm only going to work. And at the time it was VARs, but VARs, managed service providers, IT firms. And since then, I've had 10,000 enroll in one or more of our programs. And if you look at whether you want to measure our success by number of clients or retention rates or revenue, we are the largest, most successful marketing firm in the channel. And we currently run the largest C-level peer group where they meet. I want to make that distinction. It's not just a membership. It's where they actually get together and meet. These C-level MSP peer groups, we have the largest in the industry, 600 companies and growing. And the reason I want to share that with you is, why is that important, is because everything I'm sharing with you in this webinar, the marketing strategies, everything in the series is not based on what I think. It's based on knowing and seeing what 10,000 MSPs are doing and seeing what the ones that struggle and don't make money, see what they do. And then look at the ones who are making good money and growing 20, 30, 40% year over year. And not only growing top line, but bottom line, and really evolving into a more secure, stable MSP. Also based on paid attendees, our boot camp is the second largest event in the channel. We're the largest reseller of CRM and marketing automation systems to MSPs. So we have a website called MSP Marketing CRM. We sell a CRM system that's fully designed for an MSP. I've created multiple campaigns that have generated literally millions of dollars. And I don't mean like the Pinky, like Austin Powers millions, I mean real serious, genuine millions of dollars for my managed services clients. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that we have more documented client success stories than anybody else in this industry. And I'm not telling you all this to brag. I'm telling you this so you understand that the basis of which I'm putting my information and sharing this with you is not fluff. Folks, there's a lot of BS, unfortunately, in the marketing and the guru world. There's a lot of people out there who are writing books and promoting themselves as experts. And they do business in their dreams, and they run a business in their nightmare, really is what it is. Either they sold their business 10, 20, 30 years ago, and it's just kind of a side thing to get them out of the house so their wife doesn't kill them, but they're not really running a business today. Or they never did what they're trying to teach people to do. There was a guy the other day who was, I saw he was selling sales training, and he has never, ever managed a sales department, like ever. And, it's easy to write the book. It's really hard to do the things. So I am here giving you a field report, not a book report. Okay. So it's really important to know that. I think I owe you that explanation. And the other thing I just want to say is check your skepticism at the door. It'll be there for you to pick up on your way out. I know some of this, you're going to look at some of these campaigns and you're going to go, not for me. My clients are different. My business is different. But I'm telling you, I've done this for nearly 20 years. And the things I'm sharing with you, they work. I mean, they work for people like Charles Swihart, who's Preactive IT Solutions. He's in Sugar Land, Texas. And a few years ago, we're talking like maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, they were a small break fix shop, no managed services. He had over 1,000 customers, but he wasn't making any money. And so he fired 981 of his tiny break fix customers and then shifted to managed services. The things that I'm going to share with you in this series, not just today, but in the series that's coming up. In fact, I'm going to do an interview with Charles on how he did this, and doubled his revenue from 800,000 he was doing to 1.76 million. He's on track to do over 2 million this year. And also, but main thing, his profitability is insane. He's really figured that out. Or Beth Burnside, who came to me, CMIT Solutions, she came to me, she had no clients. She was a zero client startup, no marketing, no list, no system, no CRM, no website, no nothing. And we helped transform her into, I think she's over $1 million today in a managed services business. Or Tom Malesic, this is one of my favorite ones. Tom is based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania Dutch are. Love Pennsylvania Dutch, love the pretzels, guys, make good furniture. not known for managed services, okay? Part of his managed services offering includes termite control because all the computers are wooden. See, there's my joke for today. See, I'm gonna imagine you're all like, I need a laugh track or something, right? You know, but the reality is, I mean, you would think Lancaster, that's great. I mean, you know, how do you sell managed services? He went from not even knowing what that was, not knowing what managed services was, but he added $35,000 per month in new monthly recurring revenue. He's on track to sell 3.5 million this year. And again, he's in Lancaster, folks, Lancaster. So if these people can do it, I'm telling you, you guys can do it too. And that's all the marketing we're going to be sharing with you. What is the marketing these folks used to grow their business? And so I want to start out by asking you guys a question. I'm going to take a sip of water. I want you guys to put in the chat, what is marketing supposed to do? Answer that question in the Q&A in the chat. Let me see what you got there. Someone said, if Robin's number 2, what's the largest MSP marketing company? No, we are the #1 marketing company. Our event in attendance is second in the industry, but we're #1. Sorry if I didn't clarify. So generate interest. Another one saying generate interest. Raise your profile. Get involved. Get the phone to ring with leads. Generate leads on a consistent basis. Marketing is to create brand awareness. To introduce my company to prospects. Brand awareness. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. You hire a marketing manager for your company. And the marketing manager, you're paying them $60,000, $70,000, maybe $80,000 a year or more. Okay. Now you hired this employee and you're paying this employee, and you've got to say, well, here's what your job entails. I want you to get our name out there. I want you to create brand awareness. All right, 6 months goes by. You meet with your marketing manager. There's not hardly any leads that have come in and no customers. Website looks good. You got brochures, you got print material, right? No leads, no customers, no sales. And you sit down with the marketing manager and you're like, I don't think you're doing your job. And they say, well, what do you mean? I'm doing my job. You told me you wanted marketing to generate brand awareness. Our brand, more people know about our brand today than we did yesterday. We didn't even have a brand. I created a brand. People are more aware. We got our name out there. Look at all the tweets I put out there. Look at all the Facebook posts I put out there. We've definitely generated awareness and branding. Now you're going to sit there as a business owner and you're going to say, no, wait a minute, that's not what I meant, right? And see, here's what's really important. If you're going to be successful at marketing, you need to know what marketing is supposed to do. And marketing should facilitate and accelerate, let me move the slide here. Marketing should facilitate and accelerate the sales process by attracting right fit prospects, pre-selling them and even pre-qualifying them, predisposing them to do business with you. Every marketing dollar should be accountable. If you spend $1 today, you want $5, $10, $20 coming back to you. My friend Kevin O'Leary says they're like soldiers. He sends his dollars out like soldiers who take prisoners of other dollars and capture them and bring them back. That's what you want. So when you start talking about marketing, you got to get out of this, I want to generate brand awareness, because you can't measure brand awareness. You can't measure getting your name out there. You can't, like I'm looking at some of you can't measure, like introduce your company to new prospects, but that doesn't mean that prospect is going to buy from you. You know, so marketing, you want it to generate leads of qualified prospects who are pre-sold, pre-interested to do business with you. But most MSPs, as you guys know, their marketing is what I call the vulture marketing plan. They sit on a branch, they wait for something, the key word being wait for something to die in front of them, and then they go jump on the dead carcass and fight over it with all the other buzzards that are out there trying to fight over dead meat. Wrong way to do marketing. You got to know how to get those customers to come to you, not just to wait for something to fall over dead in front of you so you can peck over it at the cheapest price with all the other vultures. And so the truth of the matter is, and I'll keep advancing the slide here, no one knows how good you are before the sale. Until they buy, they only know how good your marketing is. And I know that that is really unfair. If you think about this truth bomb, as I'm calling it, right? Shouldn't the sale go to the most competent MSP? Shouldn't the sale go to the person who's most qualified to do the job? It should. I think we would all agree with that. But the reality is, people can't evaluate you over all the other MSPs. The only thing they know is how good your marketing is. And if your marketing is non-existent, if it's ineffective, if you're not communicating the right things, you're not going to be getting the clients. So the only kind of marketing that you should be doing is not branding, is not awareness generating. It is called educational direct response marketing. We call it E.D.R. for short, educational direct response marketing. And educational direct response marketing, it's designed and written to get the attention of your right fit prospect. It compels them to respond, which is often called lead generation. Some people call it inbound marketing. Some people call it content marketing. But the idea is to get a prospect to step forward out of the masses, raise their hand, move towards you, engage with you in an interest of doing business. And it also, and this is a big one, it has to facilitate and influence the information gathering and decision-making process. Because when a prospect first starts thinking, you know what, we might need to get a different MSP in here. We might need to get somebody else to manage our network. And maybe they're replacing their brother-in-law, or maybe they're replacing their current MSP. But the reality is, if your marketing doesn't help them make that decision, if it doesn't facilitate the information gathering process that a prospect goes through, it fails. Now, the reality is this lead generation marketing is not something I invented. Like, I call it E.D.R, that's my term for it, but I didn't invent it. It's been around since the very first postal mail went out. In fact, a little fun fact, the first direct response marketing ad that went out via postal mail, and it was an anti-slavery promotion. And it was recruiting people to the anti-slavery movement. So it's been around forever, educational direct response. I didn't invent it, but this is the kind of marketing you want to do, because it's the only kind of marketing that specifically tries to attract, if it's written properly, of course, specifically tries to attract a right fit prospect. It gets them moving towards you. It generates a lead that you can then cultivate and develop into a customer. It's also the only kind of marketing that is measurable, because you cannot measure brand awareness. Brand awareness is a byproduct of E.D.R marketing, right? It's a byproduct, because if somebody reads your ad, responds, they are obviously going to be more aware of your brand than they were before. But if someone is aware, if all your marketing is doing is trying to generate brand awareness, that doesn't guarantee a sale. So for example, when I drive into my office every day, there is a bank right next to my office. I'm fully aware it's there. I have to drive by it every single day. I know they do savings and loans, and they do checking and credit cards and all the things that a bank does. I'm perfectly aware of the brand and of the company. I've never done business with them. So awareness does not equal leads and customers. It just means I might be aware of your company. So you got to make sure that the marketing is not just trying to do brand awareness or get your name out there. You want to make sure it actually facilitates a lead and a customer moving towards you. So I'm going to give you an overview of what an educational direct response marketing system looks like. So if you look at this slide, you'll see that marketing brings people into your sales funnel. So what the kind of marketing I teach my clients, we teach everything from referrals to SEO to Google pay-per-click, Facebook ads, direct mail, telemarketing, LinkedIn. We are media agnostic as a company. So I'm not here to sell you any particular kind of media. And I think the media, we'll talk about that, depends on your target market. But let's say we're doing any number of things, direct mail, email, Google pay-per-click, retargeting, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we are driving people to respond to an ad. Now, this is an example of an E.D.R campaign. Now, don't get hung up on it and go, well, postcards don't work for us, and forget that. That's not the point. You're missing the point. Don't get hung up. This is a postcard because it fits easy on a slide, right? I'll show you other examples. But it says, business owners, are you frustrated with computer problems but don't know who you can trust to fix them fast? That's a flag. And that gets somebody's attention who's going, yeah, that's true. I am a business owner, because in this ad, we want to attract business owners. Are you frustrated with computer problems? And your ideal prospect, that's what they're thinking. So this headline gets their attention, our free small business advisory guide will arm you with 21 critical questions you should ask your next IT consultant to make sure their policies, procedures, and service standards won't leave you stranded. So this ad, which could be a web page, it happens to be a postcard, but this is basically not selling managed services, because that's way too soon. You're going way too early in the process. It's just saying, download this free report and know what to look for when you're trying to find your next IT company. And that's educational direct response, because we are facilitating the information gathering process of that prospect. We are attracting the right fit, and we're going to let the marketing do the work. Because now we could do other lead generation offers. I teach my clients to use free reports and buyer's guides, white papers, research reports, industry surveys and polls, videos, webinars, whether you do them live or on demand. You can offer checklists and guides and ebooks and printed self-published books, and we offer IT assessments, dark web scan, free trials, cybersecurity assessments, even a competitive bid campaign, which works really well. So there's a lot of different offers you can use. You're not stuck with just one, but all of these are driving to get that prospect to opt in. And so the content, whether it's a report, an article, a video, it's delivered automatically. They go to a website and they download it. And these people are clearly interested, but we don't know if they're qualified yet, all right? So then the free information, which is part of your marketing funnel, then is a non-threatening sales presentation, right? Because it's a free report, it's a video, it's a webinar on demand, it's an ebook. It educates the prospect about what their options are, what to look for. It answers frequently asked questions. It provides case studies and testimonials, validates your authority, builds trust. It offers a next step of a network audit or an assessment or a meeting. And so what I want to point out here, whoops, going a little fast. What I want to point out here is that the report is a canned and cloned sales presentation. Use a Gary Halbert term. It's canned and cloned. In other words, most of you, if you're generating a lead just calls in and starts to talk to somebody, and there's no control over what they see, what information they get. When you can put your information together in reports, in videos, in webinars, you can deliver that perfectly. You can work to get it to be the perfect sales presentation, the perfect marketing piece, and deliver it every single time in the same manner consistently. So that way you're not depending on a human being to say the right things at the right time and answer the right questions. And it's all non-threatening. So the prospect can download this 24/7, 365. As I'm doing this webinar and I'm live with you guys right now, I've got all these offers that are going on my websites, and people are clicking on them, and they're downloading videos, they're downloading free reports that's pre-selling them. They're getting pre-sold, and they're going to book an appointment to buy. And that all happens without me having to do anything. I'm not involved in it. I don't see it. I mean, I see it happening because I watch it, but I'm not having to do any manual labor, because all the marketing pieces do that heavy lifting for me. So then the next step is, once they get the report or whatever video or whatever it is, they then respond. They want to meet with you. They call your office. Now they're considered a hot prospect. And when they call in or they request the meeting, obviously we're going to qualify them. You need a process to qualify that lead. And if they are, then you want to send them what I call my sales secret weapon. And this is called a shock and awe box. And inside this is marketing material that's designed to differentiate you from the competition, elevate trust, generate trust, answer frequently asked questions, and get that prospect pre-sold to answer questions about price, about managed services, overcome objections. This thing does that. So when you go to show up and have a call with them or a meeting, they're pre-sold, pre-qualified to do business with you. And then of course, when you meet with them, you better have a scripted sales process. You don't want to just be free range chicken out there saying whatever comes to mind. But then the marketing doesn't stop there. See, a lot of people think marketing stops there, because once you get a client, now you want to turn a client into a raving fan. And that's someone who buys frequently, that takes your advice, that refers other people, that gives you positive reviews online, etc. All right. So a lot of this is all automated once you set it up with your marketing, because here's where you're getting involved. When that hot prospect is saying, I want to meet with you, when they're already pre-sold, pre-qualified, ready to do business with you. Okay, so the objective is not just to generate leads by whatever means possible, because there is a big difference in the quality of leads based on where you get the lead and how they are introduced to you. The correct objective is to bring a properly prepared pre-sold prospect to you, predetermined to buy, and only from you, with the price objection handled, trust that has been built, etc. So let me look over here at the questions. David, I think you're on mute, but do you see any questions or anything that I've missed? I see a number of things.
I don't see anything, but I'll keep looking.
All right, I might just ask you from time to time if you see something, because I'm trying to present and look at the camera and my slide. And
I will help.
Yeah, I know. If I look like I'm distracted, I'm looking at a number of things, right?
You have a flag back there? You could just raise it up to alert me.
Yeah, okay. All right, very cool. Okay, so guys, and by the way, if you have questions, we'll go to the end. If I don't see if it's not relevant to what I'm talking about, we'll cover it at the end, all right? So why do most marketing campaigns fail? And that is because they don't use E.D.R. They don't use educational direct response marketing. And basically, they ask the prospect to make a leap of trust that is a Grand Canyon-sized leap, and they ask them to make it far too soon. All right, and let me show you what I mean. This is a typical IT services ad, right? So you always have like smiling people around computers and attractive people that don't look like you, because these people are like attractive. It's so funny. This is what I call the visual spam, because people put these pictures of people in their advertising, and it's not them, and it's not their clients, and they're like really good looking models, and it's spam because like everyone knows that you and your clients don't look that good. I know it's terrible, but usually that gets a laugh, but hopefully you're laughing with me. But yeah, so you know that's not like one of your texts, like doesn't look like that, but it's basically an oversized business card. The first question is, who is this for? It doesn't identify who you do specifically, who you do IT services for. Is it home users? Is it B2B? Is it medical? Is it, is it a banking industry? We don't know. And a prospect needs to know that your services are for them. If they don't see themselves in your ad, they could come to an assumption that it's for a bigger company, a smaller company, not for them, all right? Why should I care? It says IT services unlimited. Our company will do it all. Computer repair, virus removal, help desk. Why should I care? That's a big question. Who else can say they can do this? Well, pretty much every other MSP out there can say that they can do this. So there's no differentiation. What conclusion do you want me to draw? That you're better than everybody else? That you're cheaper? That you're more expensive? You're more qualified? I mean, like, what's the conclusion? And what action do you want me to take? If I don't have an immediate need, I might have some interest, but if I don't have an immediate burning need, there's no way for me, there's nothing for me to respond to here. There's a phone number, but then I know I'm going to talk to a sales rep who's going to beat my brains in and follow me around forever and never leave me alone. So I have no way of getting more information on your company. Yeah, there's a website, but I'm imagining the website's going to be just an online digital version of what I'm looking at. Further, there's no differentiation. So if I already have an IT company, why the hell would I respond to this? There's nothing here that tells me you're better, more advantageous, more qualified. There's no benefit in this whatsoever. It's just, here we are, right? And how do I know you'll actually do a better job and not disappoint me? Because if I am looking for another MSP and I have been disappointed, how do I know you're going to do any better? And if I'm looking at this ad and I'm seeing pretty much the same ad from 20 different companies, this is why you get price shopped. If I'm interested, how do I get more information without talking to a sales rep? People don't like to talk to sales reps. So if you're going to send them to your website, you got to give them a reason to go there. You got to tell them, here's something of value, a video, a report, a checklist, a something where they can get that information and help make that buying decision better. Okay, here it is, the same thing on a website. Amazing customer support, get started. What are you selling exactly? And who is this for? And who else can say this? Can you prove it? You're saying amazing customer support. Can you prove that? Should I call? Should I click? I don't know. What action do you want me to take? Again, if I don't have an immediate need. Here's another one that I blocked out the client name, but they sent it to me for review. What the heck are you selling? Dedicated, name a company, is dedicated to delivering its customers valuable, cost-effective turnkey solutions. Now, I'm just curious, is there anybody out there who cannot say that? If a prospect came to you wanting to hire you for managed services and said, look, all your competition is saying they offer valuable, cost-effective turnkey IT support. Can you do that? Would you be like, nah, dog, man, I can't do that. You know, everything we have is like really expensive and we make it complicated. You know, it's not turnkey. We intentionally piecemeal it all out. You got to buy each one, and we're not really dedicated to giving you valuable services. We're just, you know, we just hang out. Like, nobody's going to say that. And so this has no power whatsoever. All right, this has no power whatsoever. So why do these messages fail? They make you sound like everyone else. Zero differentiation. It's like a restaurant advertising. When you leave our restaurant, you will be less hungry than when you came in. See, that's like, I would hope so. Right? I would hope that that would be the case, right? So there's no differentiation. They don't hit on any hot buttons. What the prospect is thinking, what the questions they're asking, what they're looking for. They're rife with platitudes and generalities. So we're proactive, we're responsive, we're best service, we're reliable, we have good tax. We've been in business since 201 BC. You know, that's the other favorite one. Everybody likes to say how long they've been in business. They also fail to identify who their service is for or offer any kind of non-threatening offer or way to engage, and they don't facilitate the prospect's buying decision. Okay, so this is an example of a really good ad. If you look at this is Scott Beck. He's in Canada, and a very good client of mine. He was a really small, struggling MSP, but you can see on his website, good differentiation. Are you sick and tired of dealing with IT service providers that are impossible to reach, won't follow through, can't fix things right, and nickel and dime you for everything they do? And he's got that 21 question guide right there. Boom. Okay. Now, Scott said since his business had hit a ceiling of about $200,000 in revenue, and then he came to me, we worked on his marketing. He was able to get to $1 million in sales, but more importantly, increase that profitability by 256%, and then had the ability to hire some techs and full-time people. And Scott, if you follow Scott on Facebook, the guy travels like all the time. He loves Disney. He's always going to Disney. He's probably going crazy right now with quarantine, right? But this is an example of when you start doing this kind of marketing, even when you're small, even if there's a pandemic, you can still generate better quality leads, okay? This is another example. Now, this happens to be a direct mail campaign, but this campaign has email, a web landing page, it has LinkedIn and telemarketing tied to it, but it's a letter that goes out. It has a packet of aspirin that is attached to the top, and it says, is your current IT company causing you to need one of these, which is an aspirin? Does he take forever to call you back? Are you paying him good money to keep things working, but still having constant problems, slowness, and recurring issues? Are you worried he's not backing up your data and securing your network? Does your head hurt from having to deal with all the hassles, right? So it grabs their attention, definitely hits on hot buttons. It builds credibility, and it gives them a reason to respond, because in the letter, we're giving them a free network assessment. Brandon Bauer, ZenTek Data, smaller MSP. He said this was one of his best executed campaigns. He was hoping to add maybe $4,000 to $5,000 in managed services, but end up adding $7,500 per month in brand new managed services agreement. So, and he's continuing to do that. The good thing is, like, that was like one time. Once you put these marketing systems in place, they feed you ongoing. It's not like you do them once and stop. You put them in place, rinse and repeat. That's part of a marketing system, and we'll talk a little bit about that. This is an example of another E.D.R campaign, educational direct response campaign. This is a webinar that one of my clients, E.D.R Masabini, he's with MVP Network Consulting, and he's done a series of them. So this is just one of multiple webinars that he did. Discover what health providers need to know about email and keeping their patients' protected health information safe. This was a webinar that he had created. Now, Ikram, when he first came to me and was not using E.D.R type marketing, since using it, he's generated 5 times the number of leads he has in the past, and it added $2 million in sales, as well as a 200% increase in profits in 1 year's time. Now, he's a little bit larger. I think this year he is going to, I think he's at the $10 million mark. So he's a little bit larger of an MSP. He said, and this is an important point he makes, he said, I can't point to just one single marketing campaign that has led to the success we've had, but one webinar generated 31 registrations, which is 31 leads, by the way, and over $7,200 in new MRR. And he's since repeated that again and again, which is so key, guys. Marketing should not be wake up every day and think about what you do. It's a repeatable marketing system that you put in place. This is a good example of a lead generation campaign from Impact. This is the dark web scan. I've got a number of clients who offer this on their website, a dark web scan report. And this is a good E.D.R marketing campaign. This is another one. This is an ebook. It's the Cyber Crisis ebook for CEOs and executives of manufacturing firms. This is Innotech. So Innotech is a client of mine, Fred Reck. Fred's been a client for a long time. In 1 year, we generated $231,000 in new business, securing ourselves a 1,300% ROI on our marketing investment using Robin's method. She taught me how to think more entrepreneurially, and her leadership direction and marketing has paid off big for Innotech. So again, Fred has used this marketing, smaller MSP, maybe one tech, I think it was, his wife helping out in the business, and has since then grown. I think Fred, I want to guess now that he's up to about 3 million, I think 3 or 4 million. So it does work, okay? Now, once you, hopefully at this point you understand E.D.R, so I'm looking at the questions. Guys, if you have any questions before I move on, are there any questions about E.D.R marketing or lead gen marketing? David, I don't know if you saw anything.
Robin, from Douglas, and I probably have a follow-up, I think, myself. So he's trying to target CEOs in the professional and construction services space.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question is the marketing to folks at a CEO level, especially maybe with bigger organizations, different than what you might do for other recipients of the marketing? And then I guess I would follow it up with, should you be targeting CEOs, or does it make more sense to target somebody below the CEO in order to expose your business to them and get more attention?
Well, the answer, of course, is it depends, because it's not across the board. Like if you are targeting, like I have a lot of clients that sell co-managed IT. Now, co-managed IT is a form of managed services that you sell to a company that has an IT department. So they might have anywhere from 1 to 10 IT people, and co-managed is delivering things like a managed backup or cybersecurity solutions or providing a help desk. It's essentially, you're not replacing the IT department, you're wrapping around it with your tools, your support. And in those cases, often they're selling to the IT leader, okay? Or if they're not selling to the IT leader, they definitely have to get that person involved, because, you know, yes, you can sell it to the CEO, but you're not there to replace the IT department. So you got to, at some point, you got to get the IT department involved. In a small business where there's no IT department, then your decision maker is going to be the CEO, maybe the CFO, right? Now, if you're selling to, you know, different, like a construction company, like he's selling, yeah, you're looking for the CEO. That's who you want to get to. Now, for example, I was on a call the other day with a client who sells managed services to the construction industry, but they also have an application that they developed. And this application is an accounting application. In that case, we're trying to get to the person doing the accounting of the construction firm. So the answer to your question is, it depends, because, you know, small business, almost always universally, it's going to be the CEO. As you get into larger organizations, even mid-size, where there's one IT person, you're still going to have to involve the CEO as well as the IT person. Sometimes when you're getting into larger organizations, you're only going to be selling to the IT director. Like for example, you guys do backups. If you guys are going into a large organization that has a, let's say there is an IT person, you know, and you say we do backups, IT backups, and that's all you're talking about, no CEO is going to sit down with you and talk about backups. If they have an IT manager, they're going to say, you need to talk to my IT manager about backups. Now, that same CEO might not pass the buck if you're talking to them, him or her, about co-managed IT, where you're talking about strategically wrapping around their IT department for an executive, and you're making an executive level case for cost savings. So when, like in our program, like you're looking at the screen, David, tell me if this answers, but you're looking, the 4 pillars you got to get right, and you got to think about, decide on, is market, message, media, and math. So market is who you're selling to. And once you know who you're selling to, then you know what kind of message you need to portray to that person, because obviously an IT director has different criteria, different buying criteria, different concerns, different needs, different motives than a CEO of a company has. And you don't talk to the CEO of a company the same way you would talk to an IT manager. Like if you're selling a backup to a CEO, you better not get technical, because their eyes are going to glaze over. They're going to tell you get the hell out of their office. If you're talking to an IT leader of a company, they probably want to know all the technical aspects of the backup, right? So it depends on you. The first thing you got to do is define your market. Then you create your message. Then the media, which is Facebook, LinkedIn, direct mail, telemarketing, SEO, that's defined by the market as well. Because if you're selling, let's say, to small businesses, you're selling, maybe your target market is anybody with 5 computers up to 50, no presence of an IT person. Well, you might be able to do well on Facebook or SEO, etc., right? If you're trying to sell to the CEO of a hospital, and I have clients that's who they sell to, their target market is the CEO of hospitals, you're not going to get that person on Facebook. I mean, I say you're not, I shouldn't say never, because stop clocks right twice a day. But to get to a CEO of a hospital, you better be using referral, networking, LinkedIn, direct mail, because they're not typically going to be on Facebook looking for an IT provider, if that makes sense. Or for example, if you're targeting the CEO of a bank, that CEO of the bank is not going on, it's not going on Yelp to find an IT company, just not happening. He's not going on Angie's List, for example, to find, so where you advertise is largely dependent on the market, and then the message, the media, and then the math. So that's kind of a good segue. David, do you think that helped clarify?
I mean, that's exactly what we see when we sell. I mean, we deal with a lot of small SMB type managed service providers, and a lot of them are owner operators. So we can speak generally and technically to the same person. That's not a big deal.
Right.
But when we're trying to get messages across, especially if we're not sure who's going to read it, we try to get the business value and let them know how we can help their business become more profitable, save them money, make it easier for them to manage.
Yep, exactly. All right, little trigger finger there. Okay, so let's take these in order. So the first one is you got to know who your target market is. And by the way, in a business, if you're a really small MSP, I'm going to tell you it's smart to narrow your focus to one market. As you grow, you may want to add on different client avatars. And what I mean by that is, like, when you're small, you've got one client avatar just so you can scale. But as you grow a business, you might have a division that focuses just on healthcare, or a division that just focuses on legal. But when you're small, you want to make sure you pick a target market, because the world's greatest marketing message is no better than the world's worst marketing message if it's sent to the wrong customer, right? So like, for example, I hate to even bring up politics, but it's a good example. If we had a fundraising campaign for the Republican Party, but we sent it to a list of Democrats, you're not going to get a good result, no matter how brilliant the campaign is. So somebody would say, well, that campaign didn't work. It didn't bring in, only brought in hate mail, right? Well, it may not have been the campaign. It could have been that you had the wrong list, the wrong target market, and the message didn't resonate with that. So the most fundamental question you need to answer is, who is your customer? Because if you can't define who your customer is, how can you go about marketing? You don't know how to build a list. You don't know what offers are going to work. You don't know what copy is going to work. So you really got to tightly define who your target market is, because that also defines what you sell, how you package and price things, the types of services you offer, the vendors, the technologies you select, the staff you hire. Your legal and insurance requirements are driven by this, your geographic locations, customer service, your entire marketing go-to-market strategy, your unique selling proposition, media, and your sales strategy. But most MSPs, the way that they think about their target market is they just say, well, here's a map of my town, and I'm going to put a push pin in the location of my office or my house, wherever you work from. And then you take like a styrofoam cup, you put it over there, and you take a crayon and you draw around the outside and you lift it up and you go, yeah. Every business in this area is my target market, right? And it just doesn't work. Like I had a client the other day who came to me very excited about the New York Shield Act. So some of you may have heard of this. There's this new legislation that went into play in the state of New York that is requiring businesses to be far more diligent about protecting personal information, personal identified PII, personal identifiable information. So anyway, so she's super excited about this. Small, but they're a small shop. She goes, I said, well, who's the customer? She goes, well, it's applicable to everybody. I mean, any small business, she said that 5 to 5,000 computers, it doesn't matter. They need to comply with this. This is a great opportunity for us to sell, you know, our managed services to them. So I said, okay, well, how many small businesses are there in the state of New York or in the New York City area? Because I think that's where she was. She says, I have no idea. So I said, well, let's look. And I can't remember, maybe someone out there can do a look. Just look up how many small businesses in New York City. I'm just going to pick a number. I can't remember. I think it was after we took out the real big corporations and we chopped off the bottom. I think it turned out to be like 50,000 or so, and that was with some trimming of it, right? So I said, okay, if there's 50,000 businesses in your area that can buy from you, what's your marketing budget? And she's like, 0. She's like, I have no money. She's like, oh yeah, I can spend a little bit of money, a couple $100, but I really don't have a lot. I said, so tell me how you are going to use a couple $100 a month to market to 50,000 or whatever it was, 50,000 companies in your area. There's no way. You don't have the budget for that. You got to narrow this down to a very small, manageable size market, right? Because here's the other thing you've got to understand. There's 3 really critical points about selecting a target market. The one thing you need to be able to have in order to have success in any kind of marketing is a list. And at least, maybe more, 50% of the success of any marketing campaign is the quality of your list and the relationship you have with it. Now, guys, please don't, this is not something to skim over. Write this down, highlight it, you print out the PowerPoint when you get it, highlight it. 50% of the success of any campaign is the quality of your list. So now, if we can build a list, then that's good because we have the list. But like if you're targeting on Facebook or you're targeting people on LinkedIn, 50% of your success is making sure you're talking to the right prospects to begin with. It's the whole Republican Democrat example I just used. You can have a brilliant campaign if you target it at the wrong people, no good, right? So you have to have a very targeted list, and then you have to build that list and build a relationship with that list. And if you don't do that, you're going to be pushing a rope uphill. All right, so it's really important. You can't even start to build a list if you can't define who your sweet spot slam dunk customer is. Who is that customer? What do they feel like? What are the problems? What size of the company? Niche is one, like are they a construction or a nonprofit or a dental office? That's one aspect. But also size of company, what situation, how many PCs, where's their geographic location? Is there an IT manager present or not? Are they outsourcing their support? Who are they outsourcing it to? You need to be able to define who that sweet spot prospect is. And by the way, PS, your list is not a static asset. Once you build a list, you got to continually market to it. That's including customers. If you never talk to them, you don't exist. They start to revert back to cold prospects. They may be hot for 5 seconds, but if you don't continually market to them, and mostly, by the way, PS, that's because you guys don't have a CRM system. You have no automation platform to do this. But if you don't market and stay in front of those leads with regular drip campaigns, online, offline campaigns, and content, you don't even exist, all right? So number 1 pillar is you got to pick a target market. Once you figure that out, then you got to craft a compelling marketing message. So the next piece of this puzzle is what are you going to communicate to them once you've identified what's the message that's going to even get them to consider to pay attention or replacing their current company, whatever it is. So, again, let's say you get in front of a prospect, and this prospect is somebody who buys managed services. All right, so they have a question in their mind that they're thinking, they might not articulate to you, but they are absolutely thinking. I can guarantee you every prospect you have ever sat in front of is thinking this question, even if they've never asked it. And the answer to this question is called your USP. And if you have a good answer to this question, I promise you, you're going to be able to charge premium fees if it's really good, and you're going to be able to win clients away from other MSPs at a higher price point. Sales is going to be a lot easier. And if you don't have a good answer to this question, you're forever going to be pushing a rope uphill, struggling against fee resistance, struggling to knock out incumbent providers, struggling to get new clients. All right. Now, the question is, like I said, it's defined by your unique selling proposition. And that is, why should I buy from you instead of all the other MSPs that are marketing to me? If I do a Google search, there's 20 of them that come up. Why should I buy from you over every other option available? And here's a fact. If you don't have a good answer, given no other logical reason upon which to base their decision, all prospects are going to default to buying on price. That's it. So your unique selling proposition, number one, has to be unique to you, obviously, otherwise it kind of defeats the whole unique part of the unique selling proposition. It has to have meaningful specifics. It's got to be relevant to your target market, and it's got to be defensible before they buy. That's key. If they have to buy and sign a contract to see if it's true, it's no good. All right. So another way of looking at this is like Clara Peller would say, where's the beef? So if you look at this document, this is our unique selling proposition. The other thing you got to know, it's not a tagline. Okay. We're not talking about a tagline. It's a reason or a list of reasons why a prospect should do business with you. So for us, we've started since 2002 or 2001. 2002 is when we technically incorporated, but 2001 is when I started. But it doesn't matter. We have more documented client success stories. Our program is vendor and media agnostic, so we're not trying to sell you Facebook ads or sell you SEO or sell you anything. We're here to teach you what good marketing is. We're radically unique, which means that our fees are a fraction of the price of what another agency would charge you, and we stand behind our program with 100% money back guarantee. So that's an example. This is an example on a website. This is Adam Pittman. He's one of my clients, Computerabilities. He focuses on construction, engineering, and architectural firms. You can see on his website, he's got a list of reasons why somebody should do business with him. Obviously, it's clear he's been on a lot of TV shows. That builds credibility. You can see that the solutions are very specific to construction, engineering, and architectural companies. And Adam said before he met us, he was barely converting, and I mean, he wasn't even generating but 1 to 2 leads per year. His close rate was 10%. It was abysmal. He since has been able to increase his base price by 350%. He's got qualified leads. His close rate now is 38%. He went from a 1-person shop to a 6-employee company, and he's hiring and he's growing and he's doing fantastic. Well over the $1 million mark at this point, right? So you say, okay, that's great, but maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you out there listening are a larger company. Well, this is Robert Herjavec. Robert Herjavec is the guy on Shark Tank you may recognize, but you might not even know he actually runs an MSSP. It's founded in Toronto, but they're international. It's doing, I think last I checked, it was 400 million. I'm sure it's grown since then, but 400 million in revenue. And his unique selling proposition is that he specializes in IT security. So he is an MSSP. That's all they do. That is their forte. They thrive in complex environments. They're vendor agnostic, and they provide the full range of services. Now, he had told me, we had dinner, it was about a year ago. He came into Nashville to speak. And he said his unique selling proposition, he has a different list for every vertical business that he targets. His smallest company, his smallest MRR is $50,000 a month. So even someone like the Herjavec Group is a company that needs a unique selling proposition, as do the small guys. So if you look at Susan Fahrenkrug, Advanced IT, when she came to me, small one-woman shop, she had generated $89,000 in the entire year. So she came to a rapid implementation workshop we did, and it was in November. By July of that next year, she was already at the $1 million mark. And again, you could see she is dealing with industrial machines and manufacturing companies. So This is her niche. She's got a unique selling proposition. She's got a good message, and she's using that E.D.R system. All right. Now, component number 3 is your media or your message delivery system. We call them marketing oil wells. And all media is the way you communicate to your target market, right? Now, what most MSPs do is they play Plinko. Now, maybe some of you are closer to my age and you remember The Price is Right. My mother had The Price is Right, came on at lunchtime every single day, and she watched it religiously. And there was this game called Plinko, and you play The Price is Right, you guess prices, and you win these chips. And you can see the guy on the slide, he's holding one of the chips, right? So you stand at the top of the board, and it's a pegboard, and at the bottom, there's slots that have prizes you win, monetary prizes, so $500 or $1,000, but there's also a couple spots that are bankrupt and you lose it all. And the game is you play, you get this chip, and you stand at the top and you look down and you go, I think, oh man, there's money here, and then there's a bankruptcy here. How do I put this chip? So you just kind of place it and you let it go, and you hope it pings down and it lands in money. And that's how most MSPs do marketing. It's random acts and hope. And you cannot build a business on random acts and hope. And when it pertains to media, most of you are making the mistake of thinking of media first before you've defined your target market or your message. And if you have a crappy target market that's not defined and your message is weak, I don't care what kind of media you use. You could have an enormous email list. I mean, and it could all be opt-in and everything else. And if you don't have a good relationship with that list and you don't know how to write messages, you're not going to get people to respond, to register for webinars, download materials, book appointments, and buy. It's as simple as that. So just because you have everybody's email doesn't mean that that media is going to work. Same with Facebook, same with search engine optimization, same with LinkedIn and direct mail. And the second big mistake is being a one-shot wonder. Most people just send out one type of media, usually digitally, and that's it. And the secret really is, we call it multimedia sequencing, and it's using multiple touches of a campaign driving to a single offer. So I showed you earlier the one aspirin campaign, and it's a letter, but it's also a telemarketing call. It's followed up by a telemarketing call, 3 emails, 3 phone calls, and a LinkedIn message. And that all happens in a period of about 7 to 8 days, okay? So that's what it is, and that's what a marketing oil well is. It's a repeatable marketing system that you can rinse and repeat, doing the same campaign to new prospects, and then you move them, you know, you can put people through the same sequence again. And that way it makes you far more efficient. So media is really key, but again, the key is multimedia, more than one media sequencing. All right. Now, the fourth component is marketing math. And marketing math, you know, again, let's suppose you know who your target market is, you have a good message, and you know that you want to create these marketing oil wells, which are repeatable marketing systems, not these one-off random attempts, right? The next part of this is you got to get the math right. You got to look at the leads and the conversion, because if you don't know your marketing math, you're gonna be disappointed. So how most, again, I'm saying most MSPs, a very unsophisticated way of doing of setting a goal is they just sit there and they go, well, I want to add $1 million to my business, or maybe it's not $1 million. Maybe you say, I want to add $5,000 a month in MRR to my business, okay? Whatever, pick a goal, fill in the blank. Then they never work backwards to figure out the plan of how they're going to add that money, all right? So for example, it's a little pop quiz. Can you tell me with certainty what your sales are going to be next month? I'm curious, I'll stop here. Anybody? It's always hard doing a webinar. You can't hear people saying anything. But what are your sales going to be next month? Does anybody know with certain, not a range, but with like accuracy? Do you know what sales are going to be based on the promotions you've got, the campaigns that you're running, the opportunities in your funnel, the managed recurring revenue, right?
We have a yep. We have as a startup, sadly, no.
Yeah, well, like I'm not zero. Okay, that's not, I mean, guys, this is what I'm saying. If you're setting a goal, these are the things you've got to know and you've got to track, even being a startup. Do you know how many leads you're generating every month on average? Are you tracking it? Are you seeing, are we up this month or down this month? Do you know what percentage of those leads are qualified? Do you know how many of your qualified leads turn to an appointment and what your closing percentage is on those appointments? Do you know what your average sale is? Do you know what a lifetime value of a client is? If you don't know what the lifetime value of a client is, you can't possibly even begin to start planning a marketing budget. Because if you don't know what a client's worth, then you don't know what you can invest to get that asset. See, a client is an asset, and it's just like buying any other investment asset. If you're buying a house, if you're buying a stock certificate, you got to know what's it worth? Is it under or overpriced? And what's it going to be? What you're making a bet that in the future, obviously it's going to be worth more. And you don't know what you can spend to get that if you don't know what it's going to be worth lifetime. What's your cost per lead per client? What's your allowable cost per lead? What can you afford to spend to get a client? Again, most people go way too low on this and then they stunt the growth because they, I can tell you right now, the average MSP is going to be spending somewhere between $250 to $400 to get a qualified appointment, not a lead, an appointment. If you're spending less than that, it's possible to get leads. You just got to know you're stunting your growth. And outside of referrals, do you have a single reliable way, a process you can trigger and you will get clients? See, if not, then you are extremely vulnerable to going out of business, to whatever's going on, the economic recession, and there will be another one, and how long, we don't even know if we've hit the bottom yet. See, not knowing your marketing math, which really is business math. If you don't know these fundamentals, you're going to be making a lot of bad decisions, mostly making it in the illusion of saving money, but you're not saving money. You're just doing wild ass guesses. And another marketing mistake or math mistake is thinking, if we just get more leads, let's get more leads. And let me show you why that's flawed thinking. Let's suppose you're going on 2 appointments per month. The average sale is about $800 per month. So that means over 3 years, you're generating $28,800 in revenue, okay? Maybe it's more, but we'll just use that as an example. Let's say your close rate's 25%. And by the way, the average in the industry is 25%. That's not setting the world on fire. It should be higher. Also, some people say, oh, that's really low. I close 100%. See, if you say you close 100%, you know what that tells me? You're only selling the referrals. You're not doing lead generation. So let's say we put a better marketing plan in place. We bump the average number of appointments up to 4 appointments. We increase the average sale to $1,000, and we do that because we put a shock and awe in place, and we have better marketing, and you have a better sales process, and you can articulate your unique selling proposition and why somebody should buy from you. And by doing that, we bump your close rate and we increase your average sale, okay? So before, 2 appointments, 6 sales at a 25% close rate over a year would generate $172,000. So again, I'm basing it on 800 being your average monthly MRR. You're getting 6 sales over 36 months, okay? David, do you follow that math? I just want to make sure.
I'm looking at it now. I looked away. You caught me.
Okay.
2 times 12 equals 24. Correct.
Okay.
6 sales is 25%. Okay. That is correct.
Okay. So you get, anyway, you get the idea. Now, like I said, if we just bump everything a little bit, now that, and by the way, that's $864,000 we've now generated in sales by just adding 2 appointments a month, bumping your close rate and raising your prices a little bit, right? Now, in case you're not good with math or you're looking away, that's $691,000 in additional sales over 12 months. Now think about that. That's crazy. My question to you is, what are you busy doing that you don't have time to work on $691,000 in sales? Now, maybe you're not generating 2 leads. Well, then we got to get you to 2 leads. And once we get to 2 leads, we got to get you to 4 leads. And then we got to work on your close rate. And then we're going to have to work on your pricing. See, it's not, marketing isn't just like we do this one thing. It's all these things combined together, okay? So the good news is that these ideas are not going to end up in your good idea graveyard where all the procrastinators' great ideas go to die, because there's still a lot of unanswered questions like, how do you package and price your managed services? Most of you probably aren't packaging. I can almost guarantee all of you are undercharging, and you're underpriced to the point of not being profitable. And when you don't have profits, you cannot scale because you don't have the money to do marketing. You don't have the money to hire techs and to grow your business. So you might think you're being smart charging just a little bit because, you know, hey, you can get customers for cheap, right? But now you've got a diseased group of customers who have a bad entitlement attitude. You've got no profits, and you just keep adding them until you break, because you're going to get to a point where you cannot sell anymore when you're underpriced. You'll run out of steam because you won't have any money to hire anyone to help you, and you will have to stop. And so it's a bad idea. And I see so many MSPs making this mistake. How do you convert your break fix customers to managed services? Do you force the issue? How do you overcome the, well, we've never done that before, or I don't think I need all that? Those are objections. When implementing this educational direct response marketing plan, E.D.R, where do you start? Do you start online, offline? What strategies work best? Social media, email, et cetera, et cetera. What's the most lucrative target market for you specifically? By the way, I don't think there's anything as a bad target market. You just got to pick the right one and bring the right service offering to them. And then once you pick that, how do you build a list? And what CRM do you use? And how do you shortcut the time involved to all of this? So the good news, like I said, the folks at MSP 360, they are sponsoring this. We are doing the MSP Marketing Fast Start program. We're going to be rolling out a series of 4 live coaching sessions. They're going to start tomorrow, August 14th, and we're going to show you how to sell profitable managed services agreements. All the sessions are going to be recorded and posted, and you're going to be able to watch them on demand and give access to your team. And you're going to be able to ask me and my guest experts, because it's not just going to be me. I'm going to be pulling in some of my clients and my client coaches who are very successful MSPs to talk to you about how they have transitioned their business from these small break fix shops to managed services. And one bonus is that we're also going to give you a one-on-one marketing consultation so that you can talk to one of my coaches about marketing and programs that we might have that can help you. Another bonus is I'm going to give you a pricing survey that we did. It shows you how other MSPs are pricing and structuring and differentiating their MSP services. And the third free gift is a kick in the butt. I won't even charge you extra for that, right? So you get the coaching, the guidance you need to get growing again. Now, to register, again, it's free. August 13th is the last day, Thursday at noon, that you can register. After that, we're going to close registration because we start the live sessions. And as soon as you log into the site, you're going to go there. We want you to take a little survey just so I know a little bit about you. And then, and that's just so I can help direct the content. Then you're going to get in, and there's going to be a welcome video you watch. There's already a session up there. We're going to post this one up there next. We've got another session tomorrow, and in 2 weeks, we're going to be helping you guys. Set up your managed services. So again, it's free thanks to the folks at MSP 360. And David, that's all I've got for today. You have any questions?
I think that was great. Don't sound so disappointed. I think that was fantastic. No, I don't have anything else. If anybody wants to read more about us, feel free to come out to the website, msp360.com. You can sign up for a free trial if you want, no credit card required. If you want a demo, I always recommend a demo for anybody who's interested to see our products. Our sales, our solution architect team will be more than happy to set one up with you at a convenient time for you and your team. So check us out, and we look forward to see you next time.
Yeah, before we hang up though, David, let me just address something, because they're saying that August 13th is today. So I may have,
Yes,
that may be, yeah, no, it's tomorrow. I apologize for that. So yeah, guys, that was, see, I have things proofread, but the proofreader doesn't always know that today is August 13th. So my bad. Okay, so it is tomorrow. Just go sign up. It's fine. Just write off this webinar. I'll make sure I fix this. But yeah, August 14th is the correct day. And so just go, if you go right now and you register, it'll take you like 2 minutes, if that, and then you have access and you'll be good to go. And it'll pre-register you for the other upcoming webinars. All right.
Please come back for all of them.
Any other questions? Let's see. One question I did see, let me just address this. How do you calculate the figures without any history? Paulo, the numbers I gave you in that slide deck are pretty common, so you can base it on that. You just have to be able to work backwards to your goal. So most managed services, again, the only thing that I can't give you an average on is your average managed services deal, because it depends. I mean, if you're selling managed services to hospitals and big banks and co-managed, I mean, it could be $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Or if you're selling to small business and you're their outsourced IT shop, then you're typically going to get, maybe it's like $500 to $800 a month if they're small. It just depends, so that's the one thing I can't tell you. You just have to start tracking these and then work backwards. Okay. So anyway, I hope everybody is getting in real quick before we go. Can you post in the chat? Let me know if you're getting registered and you're all good. I just make sure everybody's getting in and getting access. No? Are we good? I don't see anybody. Maybe they're all registering right now. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I have to scroll down. Here we go. I'm not sure where to sign up for tomorrow. It's that MSP, managedservicesmarketing.com. If we can put that in the chat.
Yeah, you have it on the page right now.
Yeah, that's where you go. Go to that URL. Okay, registered, thank you. Registered, just finished. Amanda's saying she doesn't know where to sign up. I'm messaging her. I just posted that. That should show up there, about to register. Okay, I think people are getting in. This is good. Okay, guys, again, if you have any questions, let me know. I don't see any other questions, David, unless you want to.
The only one I saw was if you had any opinion about Seamless.ai. I don't know about their service. I think their relationship management.
I don't know anything about them. I've never heard of them. Yeah, there's so many out there.
I was Googling them when I saw the question earlier.
Is it what, a CRM?
I think it's like a CRM. They talk, yeah.
I don't know. We use Infusionsoft. We have a MSP marketing CRM. We have a CRM that we sell for managed service providers. See, the one thing I will tell you is all that, if it is a CRM and I don't know anything about it, it's still a tool. It's not going to pick your target market. It's the four things we talked about. It's not going to pick your target market. It's not going to define your message. It's maybe help you with the media, which is, are you sending emails or direct mail or telemarketing or using LinkedIn and so forth. But it's not going to help you with the math, where you know how to price things, how to package things, how many leads you need to get to your goals. Like, it's not going to do that for you. So this is, again, you're starting with the tool before you've really defined the strategies of who's my target market, what's my unique selling proposition. Those are the things that you need to get done right before you start picking tools and media. Okay, it's really important. Okay, I think, did we get most of them? Anything else?
I think so. I'm reading one more. Cold calling, cold emailing, I guess.
No, cold emailing, you got to get people to opt in and give you permission. I see that, with GDPR in Canada too, by the way, is they're very strict on that. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I can't provide legal advice because I know enough to be dangerous, but in general, I have been promoting good email marketing, meaning don't spam. What I mean by spam is you scrape or get somebody's email address and you just start hammering the crap out of them with emails, and they haven't even asked to be on your list. That's the technical term of spam. Spam has now evolved to mean any kind of unwanted email that's promotion. But no, you don't. You use the E.D.R marketing like free reports and webinars, and you use lead generation offers to get people to opt in on your list, but you got to get the offer in front of them. And so you get the offer in front of them using direct mail or LinkedIn or Facebook ads or search engine optimization or Google pay-per-click, and then people come to you, or trade shows, once we get back to trade shows and networking. and they opt in, they give you their business card, they opt in on your website, then you have and you have to have them, be very clear they're joining your list. Then you have permission to email them, but you shouldn't just spam cold email anybody. I've never recommended that for as long as I've been in business, and you guys should know that as well. So it does make it tougher because you actually got to get people who want to get that's the whole point of E.D.R. That's the whole point of it, is putting out content to get people to want to give you their information, who want you to email them, who want you to call them, not just cold spamming email. And telemarketing does still work. Now, again, around GDPR, I don't know what the legality is about cold phone calls. In the US, you can still make telemarketing calls. It's perfectly legal, business to business. Now, business to consumer is different because that's when you get into the do not call list, and you can't call consumers and use robocalls to consumers unless you're a politician, because all those a-holes like carved it out for them. They can do it all day long. We can't do it. But B2B, perfectly acceptable, still works. But I don't recommend just telemarketing. I recommend doing calls in conjunction with other marketing to that prospect to try and get them to opt in, to register for a webinar, to download a report. Okay. Okay. I think, did we get them all? So the rest, guys, if you want, when you get on these webinars with me, we'll have ability to do more Q&A. For now, what I would say, because we're getting into the weeds a little bit on this specific campaign and what we do here. So sign up for the series, like you can see on the screen there, and that way you can we can spend more time. But David, anything else?
No, I think that's a good wrap up. It was a good session. I look forward to the next one.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks, kids.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
The webinar tomorrow. Okay, thank you.